next level in life, at work, and in your relationships. And you've also thought to yourself, yeah, I do want to up my game. I do want to become a better man, a better hustler, a better person. And my guess is that you've been thinking about this for a long time. Am I right? I'm here to tell you this. Stop thinking. Your moment is now. Do you really need more information, more plans for the future, or do you want to become that guy today? Because the truth is this. You can be the guy who sits around and thinks about becoming better, or you can be the guy who decides that today is the day you're going to become awesome. I want that for you. Why? Because you are awesome. You just don't know it yet. Join me and thousands of guys who've taken action in their lives at theartofcharm.com. Theartofcharm.com. What you're saying is, you know he likes you, and you know that you have an advantage with him because of that, because of the attention / emotional support, whatever that he'll give you.
It feels awesome.
As a eunuch, essentially.
Yeah.
And he's never getting there, so you're never getting in, right? At all.
Right.
And basically, not being used, that's a harsh term, but you're being...
It's not being used.
You're not being used, but you're in that position where everybody knows the score except maybe kind of for you, because you're hoping that it will change. But really, you're kind of... If you're not cool with that arrangement of being the eunuch / girlfriend, then you're barking up the wrong tree.
I will tell you honestly that when... I don't even know if it's ever when I had my heart broken that I would always be like, oh, I should be with X, the person who is my friend. But there were many times throughout my friendships with guys that I would say, oh, I wonder what it would be like to be with him. And then I would hang out with him the next day or the next week, and I'd be like, oh, it could be good, but then he would never act on it or do anything that I thought was overtly masculine.
/ he'd cry afterwards.
Right, exactly. So I was like, no, this won't work. And then that feeling goes away. But it would come back every once in a while.
Murder the attraction that you've built up in you're like, I'm feeling a little bit attracted to so-and-so right now. We should hang out. And then you're like, oh, good God, we got that.
Or when they get a girlfriend, then you're like, oh, there is something special about him. Because he stops putting all the attention on you and he's giving the attention elsewhere. So it's actually a false sense of like, this guy would be great for me. It's just, it's competition, it's jealousy.
Scarcity, jealousy.
Yeah,
plus
and
also,
abandonment.
he's also kind of like not needy anymore because he's got something on the side /
The truth is that if I had a couple of my guy friends, if they actually would have made a move, and like there was always so many situations where it was so possible to do so, they were so close to doing it, I could feel it, and that they, in their own minds, they were questioning it, that they could make a move, but they never actually did it because their body language would be a certain way, and like you could tell that they were questioning making a move. But I think if one of them actually did, I would have gone with it.
You'd have been like, all right.
But I think so.
I'll let him in just this once.
But maybe it would have been more. Because if I would have seen that new side to him, being more assertive and asking for what he wants, then in my mind, I always say it would have happened. But because it never was put out there and he never really took that step to ask for what he wanted from me and take the lead and take control, it never ever happened.
So what about the reverse where, like, because a lot of guys right now are like, that's it. I'm going to hang out with Angela tomorrow and I'm going to try to make out with her. Like,
it's not even just trying to make out with her.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like there's a couple of things that you can do to get out of the friend zone. Number one, you can have the conversation and say, like, listen, I see you in a different light now.
Yeah.
I think I want to try something with us. Because you don't know if she's the girl for you because you don't know what she's like in a relationship.
All you know is what you built up in your head.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you say, I'm thinking new things now. Like, I see you in a different light. I think we'd be good together. I would want to try possibly seeing how we would be in a relationship. Obviously start off trying dating first.
So basically you have to risk, and this is the part that sucks, you got to risk a little rejection. Yeah. Because she might be all, but we're like brother and sister. And then you have to be cool with either being like, fine.
Right.
Or in my recommendation would be, you know you're not really cool with that, so you have to cut the cord.
Right, because you're not really friends.
You're not really friends. It's a bunch of shit. She's not going to come around later on, and if she does, it's going to take forever. There's no reason for you to keep putting effort into it.
And it's going to be because you stop putting effort into it.
Right, cut the cord. So cut the cord, right?
Absolutely.
Cut the cord.
The other way, if you don't want to put it out there as, as openly, I guess, or as directly as I had just stated, what you can do is you can start altering your behavior. Take an art of charm boot camp and learn how to be a more confident guy who has his own life, who respects himself, so you're not as needy with this girl. And you can start making changes with just who you are as a person and how you present yourself to her so that she can see you in a new light. Yeah. And like what we were talking about at the beginning of our talk was she can feel you differently.
Yeah.
Because if she sees you one way, she's not always going to see you that way.
Right. No, of course. Of course. That can change. It's just not going to change spontaneously and for no reason, which a lot of guys think is going to happen.
No.
It's funny you should mention that. There's one time, a long time ago, I had a buddy named Jordan, and I invited him to come work with me. And we were sitting, it was me, him, and his girlfriend, like, having dinner or something. And I was like, you should come work with me. Like, we've got this really cool business. You're a charismatic dude. But he was great with women, but he's terrible in relationships. There's not that many of those guys. But they're there. And he's like, yeah, you know what, man? This summer I'm going to be really busy, man. You know, like, I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I've got Jill, and, like, I'm going to spend a lot of time with her. Like, a week later, they broke up. Like,
really?
A week. She dumped him, like, a week later.
Really?
Yeah. Because,
that's sad.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh,
so
homeboy,
busy.
you got super needy. Mm-hmm. Like, and that was just, like, I'm sure he did stuff like that all the time.
I'm sure.
You know?
Well, I'm sure a lot of guys do, because you were saying it doesn't happen so often, but I actually think it does.
It probably does because you're seeing it from the other end of the filter. You're seeing the guys that are good with women but not good in relationships because they're talking to you. I'm hearing from the other, like, billion dudes who are like, I can't talk to girls, but you don't interact with those guys. They screen themselves out.
No, that's why I interact with them on a daily basis because I'm a coach.
No, but
before, as a woman before no, I
yeah.
wasn't. I was only seeing those guys who were really good with women, but then were either douchebags or complete failures on communication when it came to being in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys who, you always saw as being so hard to get, and the ones that had a life, and the ones that were cool, and the ones who could ask for what they want.
They cry after sex.
As soon as they get into a relationship, they're super clingy and super needy, and because usually it's because they think that that's what you're supposed to do, not because they actually are, but they're afraid to then lose that connection. That's why a lot of guys, even guys who aren't really good at picking up women, when they do pick up a woman and they're in a conversation, they really want to stay there.
They're all switched on, like, right in your face.
Yeah, because they're afraid that if they walk away and the attraction's gone and some other guy's going to swoop in and take you away.
Which is totally possible.
It is possible.
It happens all the time.
If you stick around and bore the pants off of her, rather than walking away and go back and then take the pants off of her in the bathroom or upstairs in the bedroom,
I love how you just threw the bathroom sex out there, so I don't have to lower the class. I don't have to down class.
I took it down a notch. Yeah. I did.
Bathroom
but I did
sex.
Because I'm a girl and I can say it.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of women will be like, the only girls that do that are whores.
Really? I always wanted to be a whore like that. I never did that.
Yeah? You never did that?
I've made out in the bathroom. I've never had sex in a bathroom, only because I don't like germs. But if I was okay with it, because I'm a germaphobe. But if I did, I don't know. Maybe I would do that. I would like to now with my husband, to be honest.
Okay. I'm putting bathroom sex in the show notes.
Right.
And putting bathroom sex with Jordan in the show notes because Jordan's your husband's name.
There you go.
So,
searchable.
Yep, searchable and also totally misleading. But
I like it.
Leaving it in.
I like it.
Yeah, that's funny because a lot of girls, they're like, that's so slutty, it's so gross. And I love that your reason for not doing it is, ew, it's germy.
Because you've seen public bathrooms. They're disgusting.
Definitely. That's gross.
There's some bathrooms.
But you could go, like, what if you're at a house party with your friends and your husband was there? You could go in their bathroom. It's probably pretty clean.
Yeah, for sure. If I knew that my friends were clean. Some of my friends are pretty dirty.
Yeah, well, you're here at my place right now. You're
exactly.
like,
I don't know if I want to sit on anything.
No,
I'm
you shouldn't.
Kidding.
The bathroom's pretty gnarly right now. It's
post
boot camp. The maids are coming tomorrow. Yeah. That you don't want. I don't even want to be in that bathroom, and I live here.
Well, I do want to talk about something that you mentioned. Where if you ask a lot of girls, I think ideally a lot of girls in their mind want to be seen as good girls, especially if they're flirting with you in some way, and they want to, prove their own value to you. They're going to make that statement to you. But overall, I would say a lot of girls would want to have that adventurous ride where they are taken to the bathroom to have sex with an amazing guy who may be there for the night or maybe there forever, whatever it is. But I would say most women would do that. They may not say it or they may not know it.
They don't know at the time. That's my theory.
But most women would be very open to doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That may or may not have happened this weekend with a girl that I met from Italy. And she was all like, we're in a bathroom. I was like, yep.
Yes,
we are. Yeah. And it was like her friends or our friend's place. And I was just like, this is not the cleanest bathroom. But
like, put that in your Lonely Planet. There you go.
Put that in your Lonely Planet, girl. Yeah. Right on. Okay. I like it. So for the guys out there who are digging this, but like really want to know some first steps, let's get some practical advice out there about how to talk with women, how to connect with women. Not just the approach, but what are some of the communications skills that guys need to really be able to create a lasting connection with someone? So you have a method for this.
So the method that I have for how to talk to women, it's actually two parts. So one part is the connection part that you were talking about, but the first part is getting comfortable with conversation. I call it working your conversation muscle, which is something that I've done because I used to be horrible at having conversations and talking to people and actually connecting to them. So it's called OSA. So it's OSA. Observation, sharing, and asking a question. Because what I've found is that a lot of guys, when they start talking to women, they basically bombard them with interview questions, asking them a question after question after question after question. And it gets to be, like we were talking about before, about boundaries. Like every time that I'm asked a question without some sort of connection in between, I put another layer up that puts a further boundary.
It's like homeless guys being like, hey, you have
give
a quarter?
me some money. Yeah.
You're like, I do, but
because,
like, where's the
usually
value?
when
What's
you
in it for
have
me?
somebody coming up to you that's a stranger that's asking you questions, or even somebody that's not really a stranger who's bombarding you with questions, you're like, what do you want? What are you trying to get from me? What are you trying to sell me? And it can become very uncomfortable.
Trying to sell you the salami.
Exactly. But that's the thing about consistency and congruency that we were talking about before. So what you want to do is you want to show a woman who you are so she can feel you, like what we were talking about before, as well. And so I tell guys, instead of trying to and attempting to jump into her world and get her to open up, what you should actually do first is show her your world and get her to come into your world and open yourself up. You want to lead by example. So that's why you start with observation, sharing, then asking a question. So instead of saying, hey, how you doing? My name's Jordan. I saw you from across the way. And you look, whatever it is, that like the creepy lines that guys usually say to women that they see.
I've been watching you for like 35 minutes.
And I had to come over and say hello, blah, blah, blah. It's disgusting. So I say to start it by saying an observation. And there's observations around you at all times. So an exercise that I give to guys is I have them look around the room for 30 seconds and literally call out the things that they see and make an observation of, okay, there's weird things on the book over there. There's a piece of paper beside me. There's a coffee cup on the floor. There's a computer on the table. Those are all observations about the world around you, saying that conversation can come from anything.
Right.
Because it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it.
Sure.
And the next part is sharing. So sharing means sharing an experience about yourself, an opinion, a story, whatever it is that paints a picture of who you are. So you make an observation. So, there's like a computer on the table. Then you share something about it. I actually happen to have the same Mac. I just got it about a month and a half ago, and it has been a complete headache since I got. Anyway, that's sharing, and I'm not going to go into my whole story.
And then I'll be like, you can't even use a Mac? What's wrong with you?
But there you
knucklehead?
go. But no matter what, you are an outgoing person, so you will naturally bite back with me and we'll engage in a conversation.
Sure.
But for some people who don't, the observation and sharing gets their attention. So like usually when you observe and share, a woman will look at you and she's pretty much saying, all right, what else? Continue. You've got my attention now. And the asking a question brings her into the conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're in your own world. You're talking at like a 5-year-old who hasn't had rules put on him yet, saying you can't say those things out loud. You're talking because it's interesting to you.
Right.
And then you say, do you want to come on board with what I'm saying? Or do you have something to add to what I've put out there into the world? Now that you know a little bit more about me, I'm not trying to get anything from you.
Right.
So instead of asking a question like, do you or did you, which usually have a yes or no response, you want to open up the conversation with a how, why, what, when, and where. And that takes a lot of practice so that you do always have open-ended questions. But then you would open it up saying, what do you think about this computer? Has it been giving you trouble? Or something like that. So
like,
that
no, it's a Mac. It never gives me trouble.
Well, too bad because mine did.
Yeah.
Anyway, that gets you into a cycle, and you can repeat OSA several times. The next part is called learn, confirm, and affirm. Okay, so it's LCA, which is the connection portion. So you learn something about somebody, because I have this with a lot of guys. So we'll be having a conversation with a guy, and he'll ask me a question, or he'll talk to me, and I'll start talking, and I'll talk for 2 minutes. I'll give him a lot of my energy, and I'll think I'm shooting out gold.
Right. And he'll be like,
and then pretty much he looks at me and then continues talking, and I'm like,
did you hear anything that I just said,
exactly, bro? I should not have given you that time. So every single time that happens, it drains me more, and I'll stop giving as much to that person.
Sure.
So learn, confirm, and affirm is you learn or you listen to the person that's talking to you. You confirm that you've heard it. So it can either be you nodding your head, or you say really, or you repeat back to them what you heard them say. And then you affirm. And affirm is the part where connection actually happens and women become addicted to you, Because no matter what, you're going to be a man of value who is also doing learn, confirm, and affirm, a man who respects himself. And you're going to say, not with these words exactly, but with the intention behind it, because what you just said, I either find you more interesting, I know something about you that nobody else sees here, I understand you, and I like you more.
Yes, we call that qualification. So we have a similar thing. Yeah, I like that. And that's super important. It's one thing that most guys never do. It's one of the biggest failures. Guys go, oh, man, I told her all about, like, my cool job and my car, and, like, she saw me in this cool suit, and da-da-da-da. And then, like, and, you know, that's obviously, like, kind of douchey and fails. Yeah. And then there's the other guys who are, like, they just start, like, and then when I was 6... you know, my dad left us.
With the oversharing.
Yeah, oversharing. Yeah. And then there's those guys are like the too emo guy, and the girl's like, he's like my best friend now, but never wants to like see anything. No,
anytime where you and a girl are saying, me too, me too, me too, you're going to be braiding each other's hair at the end of the night rather than like.
You're going to be watching America's
like
Next Top Model, eating bonbons.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen for you. Because the thing is, you do want to still have that air of sexuality out there. So you're coming from, with OSA and LCA, you're coming from a position of, I'm sharing my information with you. I want to see what you have to offer as well. And then when there's something interesting there, you can actually say, I kind of appreciate you for what you just said. And that's cool. And then go back to talking casually. So what you were saying before about guys who like, I call it throwing up on women or oversharing.
Emotional vomit.
Exactly. Like it doesn't really get you anywhere. So you want to be open and share with a woman, but I wouldn't share too much, and try to make sure, especially in the beginning, that whatever you share does tend to have a positive spin to it. So
right. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy who's all like, and then I lost my job, and then I had to move, and then I lost my apartment, and then
this happened, and this
my
happened.
Cat died.
Like if a girl you're dating asks about your exes or your past relationships, you can say one option is, oh yeah, she was a stupid bitch. I hate her. She did this. She cheated on me. It was really horrible. Especially
if that's what happened.
Exactly. Well, I feel bad for you if that was what happened, but that's like a negative way of saying it. But the positive, sexier way is, you know what? We all have past relationships, and I've learned a lot from each of mine. You know, some have been good experiences, some have been bad. But at the end of the day, I think that they have made me who I am today, so that I can be the best person moving forward in a relationship.
Would you really say that? That sounds so rehearsed.
It does, because I've said it a million times now. But something like that's a much better spin.
Luckily for you, you're married. You don't have to say that crap anymore.
But it's true. That's what I would want to hear.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. Because actually, when I first started dating Jordan, I would get very frustrated him. The other Jordan. I would get very frustrated because I would always want to share about my past relationships. And I would want him to tell me things about his past relationships so that I could find out more about him. That's what I was trying to figure out. Who are you in a relationship? I wanted to get to that information faster. And it would frustrate me when he would, nip it in the bud and not really give me as much information. But the truth is that that's what kept me attracted and intrigued by him. Number one, that he respected his life and his information so much,
right?
And didn't want to overshare. And the other reason was because he just always put a positive spin on it. He would give me a little tidbit of information because he knew that that's what I needed at that time, and then he would again be honest with tact, not overshare.
And then reason number 3 is because he had that side piece he didn't want you to know about.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right. Now he's a
what
he's
do
a
you
good
know
guy.
that I don't know?
Jordy and I go way back.
Jordy.
Right. No one calls him that, do they? He's too big for that.
He's way too big for that.
Other Jordan is like 6'5"?
6'3.5".
Okay. Close enough. If you're
because he has a short neck.
Right.
He'd be 6'5".
Short neck.
If he had a neck, then he'd be 6'5". Yeah. But they called him Jody, which is interesting.
Who called him Jody?
His family.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, it doesn't. I always
Did
thought it was
somebody
really
have a speech impediment and everyone just was like that?
I don't actually know, but I remember
suit.
the first time his parents came to visit and they kept talking about Jody, and I was like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, Jordan. I was like, oh, that's so interesting.
The guy that you're dating.
Right, exactly. Like, how do I not know this about you?
That's so bizarre.
See, they never wanted to share anything with me.
Yeah.
So it kept me around.
Yeah, it kept you in the dark for a long time.
Yes.
Nice. Some people think the Art of Charm boot camps are just about picking up girls. And honestly, they are. 1 week with us, and you'll be rocking out in that department. I promise. But as a guy, I know how important it is to be charismatic, and not just with girls. And that's why we call our company the Art of Charm. That special something that gets you results wherever you go. And trust me, the results are real. Every day I get new emails from the guys who graduated from our boot camp. And what I read is amazing. Just weeks after graduating, they land a promotion. They form a new wolf pack. They have a new life. It's not an accident. Find out why at theartofcharm.com.
So I'll give you the exercise for OSA, because I think it's a really good one for people to do by themselves. You can literally walk down the street, and you can do it inside your head, or you can talk to yourself on the street out loud.
Talk to yourself out loud
if you want, just to get comfortable with it. But you can just really give yourself 2 seconds in between each thing that you notice, but try and get out at least 15 things in 30 seconds that you see around you, so that you start training yourself to start looking at opportunities for conversation. Because even if you see a lamppost, there are 30 stories that you have in your head about a lamppost. Whether you recognize it now or not, you do. You have some, it doesn't have to be some like magical story that you talk about, but it's something of interest.
So it's like the improv association game where you're like, lamppost, books, hats. This guy's got a lot of hats. Like, whatever.
But then what you want to do is you want to practice sharing. So you can go back into your memory catalog and say, what could I bring up right now that has to do with a lamppost, so that you are more prepared when you do get into a conversation, so that you've already gone through that rehearsal. And if anything, before you go out to somewhere social where you do want to interact with women, I would actually engage at least 5 people in conversation on the way there, so that your social muscle is already working and your confidence is built up because you are working on your conversation, so that the first time you speak isn't to that girl that you want to sleep with.
Right, yeah. Talk about pressure. Like, you're silent all night, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to go up there and do it. And you're all like, so, lampposts.
Yeah.
But
you're like, if you start at the beginning of the day and just start talking to everybody and just test things out now, because who cares?
Especially if you're in Hollywood, you can talk to yourself and everyone else. No one's going to even notice.
And no one will notice. But it's just getting your social muscle working. So another exercise that I would love to give, or a tidbit of information, is about approaching. So a lot of guys who I work with talk to me and say, I have approach anxiety. How do I approach a woman? So I ask them, well, what are you thinking? And what do you want when you approach a girl? So they'll say to me, well, I want to approach her. I want to have a good conversation. I want to make her attracted to me. I want to ask her out, ask her for her phone number. And I'm like, whoa. I'm feeling my throat closing
one of those things.
Exactly. I'm like I feel the pressure right now, so I can't imagine how you must be feeling, having all of that on your shoulders of your intention, if that's what you wanting. So what I tell guys to do is actually drill back their intention, because, as we were talking about before, I can feel that. If you're always trying to get to that next step, you're not actually in the moment with me and connecting. So if you drill down in your intention and you look at a girl and you're like, she's cute, I want to go see if she's cool, and you have that intention first, you approach her, and using OSA, you can engage in conversation.
So one is observe, share, and what was A again?
Ask a question.
Ask a question.
So it's really like, instead of you thinking you're the one who needs to be selected, it's putting you in the position of evaluator, because then you can say, okay, I've used OSA, I've shared something about myself, can you latch on to what I'm putting out there? And if she can't, she can't keep up with you. Probably a red flag for further on down the road
she's all
anyway.
Like, just like a piece of wood. Just sitting there. There's a lot of that in this.
Oh my God! If girls who just look at you with like a straight face, it's like, if I'm putting this out there and I'm pretty freaking awesome and you got nothing to contribute, you suck.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you got the memo. I'm pretty fucking hilarious. You might want to laugh on cue here.
Exactly. Yeah. Dance monkey.
Yes.
Dance. And that should be a red flag. Being like, you're okay. Like, you might be good for somebody else, but not for me.
You're pretty, but that doesn't go anywhere in this town. You better start laughing at my jokes.
It's LA.
You have 30 seconds to start laughing at my jokes.
Exactly. And like, I love that attitude that you have, because I know that you have that when you go out into the world, which is why women are attracted to you. And I will say that I used to be really shy. I used to have complete approach anxiety, all social anxiety. I really relate. Right, you're like, I really relate to my clients, because I used to do the same thing that they did. I would put women on pedestals. Like, I have a husband, but women really intimidated me. If somebody was pretty, I was like, okay, they're so much better than me. They have a higher value. So I had a stroke when I was 20 years old. And
you had a stroke?
Yeah.
Like a stroke.
Like a stroke.
Did I know about, I feel like I didn't know about that.
I thought you did.
I might have. It sounds familiar now.
I'm the one who should be forgetting if you did.
Yeah. Well, you had a stroke, so you have an excuse.
Right, exactly.